Well, who knew Flash was Sleeping Beauty? Not me. But hey, Queen will score it either way. The Kiss or Resurrects Flash, next on PLD Projects. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to PLD Products Presents Crown Jewels. I'm your host, PLD, and this is the podcast where I'm taking you on a journey through the entirety of the Queen catalog, song by song, version by version, creating an ultimate playlist, giving you some notes and quotes, and seeing what is the titular crown jewel or best version of each track to listen to. This week we're still heading along with the Flash Gordon. However, we do have a little something more to listen to this week. Instead of just the one track, just the album version, we have two versions to listen to. We have an album version and we have an earlier version that was released on the 2011 reissue of the Flash Gordon soundtrack. So I can't wait to do that because it's been a little bit since we've done that, to be honestly, on the Flash Gordon soundtrack. The Kiss, written by Freddie Mercury, featuring Freddie on vocalizations and synthesizer, and Howard Blake on orchestrations. That's right, we got some vocalizations from Freddie. Freddie is not doing a whole lot of vocals this album, has the Flash's theme, of course, a couple of random reprises of the theme, got the hero coming up at the end, but this is a vocalization. It's Freddie doing a high operatic kind of vocal, very falsetto-y, haunting vocals, but it's really kind of cool to hear. But it's just Freddie. Basically, it's almost a Freddie solo track, really, to be completely honest. With the only addition being Howard Blake adding some extra orchestrations on it. So let's get into this. How do we do this? Well, we listen to the tracks, each of the versions of the track to see which one's better. Which one is the crown jewel version, I should say. And how do we do that? Well, I don't want to get struck, so what I do is I put in the show notes a Google Doc with links to YouTube versions so you can listen to them on your own. I'm going to tell you when to pause. You click on that link, you listen to it, you come back, and you unpause me, and we talk about it. I always try to give you some notes and quotes, but there's not a whole lot for this particular song. I already gave them to you pretty much. Written by Freddie, featuring Freddie and Howard Blake. That's really all there is to it. So let's get right into the album version first, and then we will go and talk about it. Click below, come back for more. And there you have it. So it's not a very long track, just tracking it a little bit over 2 minutes, same as We'll Rock You. But this is one of my favorite tracks on the album. It's very highly emotional. Features some great droney sci-fi keyboards. It's all about the time, obviously, Flash Gordon is getting resurrected by Aura, who's Ming's daughter. You believe that Flash is dead, and he comes back to life. Freddie has these awesome, haunting vocals, and that's not just the lead where he's going up and down really high in his falsetto register, but he has these kind of extra ghost-like harmonies underneath, like these background harmonies, and it's really powerful stuff for about a minute, a little bit. And then towards the end of the track, that's when the orchestrations from Howard Blake comes in, a big booming bam, and then it feels almost like this is high praise for me. I don't know if anyone even will agree with me. Your miles may vary, but it might be one of the most epic sounding parts of the soundtrack. It's almost John Williams-esque for a brief minute and a half. Very powerful, very haunting, just really beautiful. I love hearing Freddie's voice like this, kind of reminiscent of, or I should say precursor to when he does Barcelona, the operatic vocals in that. I love these vocals. Quite a great track for Freddie, and really is for, like I said, his first solo track. It's pretty good. It's 2 minutes, but it's 2 minutes of heaven, baby. All right, next up we got the early version, which is an interesting track to hear. This like I said before, was released in 2011, and when Island reissued the entire catalog, this was the bonus EP. It's just a demo type version earlier on. It's not the final version, obviously. And these usually are not songs I put as crown jewels. I very rarely, I don't even know if even one of them has become a crown jewel. But either way, it is still very interesting to listen to. So without further ado, why don't you pause me and click on the link for the early version and come back for more. All right now. All right, there you have it. It's a shorter version. It's only about a minute 11, I believe, and it's very organic. It's they're all gone. The droney keyboards, no sci-fi sounding keyboards. It's basically Freddie and a piano, which is for the purists involved who didn't like the synthesizer part of Queen. This is actually probably a better version for them. Features Freddie just playing the piano along. He still has the high vocals, doing the high falsetto thing. Adds even more harmonies. It sounds like there's actually a bit more background vocals to it, maybe trying to fill in that space. And when the droney keyboards took over, it kind of took the place of some of those vocals to add it out. Of course, the orchestrations are not there at all. This is pure Freddie solo. Just Freddie, his voice, some background voices by him, and then the piano. Interestingly enough, it kind of ends going into, it sounds like the football fight. So I kind of feel like Freddie's playing with a bunch of different melodies in his head, trying to see where they fit in potentially. But this is really cool to hear. It's very cool to hear. I don't know if I put it as my crown jewel yet. I have to think about that briefly, but I have to figure about it out soon, considering that's what's next on the old podcast. But it is a very good version. Okay, spoiler alert, I just paused there for a brief moment because I wanted to actually think about it and give a little thought to it before I made my decision. Before I come to my decision about the titular crown jewel, I get to rank the track, or rate the track, on a scale of 1 to 11, because we always turn things up to 11 here on PLD Products. I'm going to give this a 10. I really, really super love this. It's short. That's the only detriment to it. It's only 2 minutes. But it fits exactly the mode it's supposed to do. It's a wonderfully haunting vocal from Freddie. It's beautiful, really that bed of synth sounds are really cool. The orchestrations are added to it. Not a whole lot going on, but what is there is great, so I can't deny that. So I'm going to give it a 10 out of 11. Does not quite slip into my top 10 Queen-related tracks of all time, because if you've been a listener of the podcast for a while, you know that they are all at 10.5 and above. So which is it now, then? Which is the titular crown jewel? Is it the album version, or is it the earlier version? There's a part of me which is a purist, which prefers just hearing Freddie without anybody else. It's Freddie, his voice, and the piano. But at the end of the day, I think I have to give it to the album version because it has the haunting keyboards add a lot to it. That bed of droney keyboard is great, and the orchestrations are really work as well too. Because like I said, I said it sounded like a Williams-esque in a way, and that's high praise, and I think it adds to the track quite a bit. So it's going to be the album version for me. It is what it is. It's going to be a lot of the album versions are the crown jewels for the Flash Gordon soundtrack. That can't be helped. But this is really cool. This is a really cool version. I hope you enjoyed it as well. All right, that's going to do it for us this week, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. This is another brief one, another quick one. Next week, we go to the planet of Arborea, the planet of the Tree Men. That is our next track to get down with on Crown Jewels. That will be again next week. If you want to keep supporting us, keep supporting the channel, you can like, subscribe, all that stuff. If you're listening to us on the audio feeds, 5-star review, all that great stuff. Patreon.com/PLD Products, where you get early versions of Crown Jewels, usually about a week or two beforehand, or at least earlier in the week. I usually record these much earlier than a lot of my other podcasts, which you can find my other podcasts on my main YouTube channel. Do a lot of TV and movie podcasts there. But we also get some extra content for those as well. We're going to get into our MCU rewatch on me and my partner, PJ Campbell. We're going to be doing a lot of the MCU on Patreon only. If you can't join Patreon, though, I totally understand it. And I understand that tough times, it is what it is. But you can help us fight the evil algorithm, liking, subscribing, sharing, all that good stuff. But I'll do it again. Like I said, this week, we will see you next week for Arborea, Planet of the Tree Men. Flash Gordon continues. And I can't wait to continue to do this.